Before I begin, let me say this clearly. This video talks about self-harm, suicide, and depression. If these are sensitive topics for you, please take care of yourself first. I never thought I would talk about this publicly, but I feel it's important. Because maybe you, like me, have asked, why would anyone hurt themselves? And maybe you've even felt the urge too. Have you ever carried so much pain inside that your body became the only canvas to show it? Have you ever wanted to escape the storm in your mind by focusing on a cut, a bruise, a burn? Anything that makes the emotional pain quiet for just a second? That was me. And I know for many of you, it might be you too. Psychologists call it NSSI, non-suicidal self-injury. That means hurting yourself without wanting to end your life. It's not suicide, though the two often get confused. It's a coping mechanism. Research shows that about 16% of adolescents and 1 in 6 adults have a history of self-harm. Think about that. Someone in your circle, maybe even sitting next to you right now, has gone through this pain quietly. Why do we do it? For some, it's substitution. Trauma leaves wounds you cannot see. Emotional pain can be overwhelming, unbearable. So we replace it with physical pain because physical pain feels simpler. The sting, the sight of blood, it distracts the mind. Studies show that the same parts of the brain that process emotional pain also respond to physical pain. The anterior insula, the anterior cingulate cortex, these areas overlap. So when you hurt your body, the brain releases dopamine, giving a false sense of calm. That's why people describe self-harm as addictive. Let me ask you, have you ever felt so overwhelmed you just needed relief even if it was temporary? But it's not only about relief. For some of us, it's persistence. It's a desperate way to feel alive. Depression can make you feel numb, like you're slowly disappearing. Self-harm, seeing the marks, the blood, was my way of affirming that I still existed. Can you imagine that, hurting yourself just to know you're still alive? And then there's self-punishment. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I don't deserve kindness? I don't deserve love? That's where low self-esteem becomes dangerous. Some of us hurt ourselves because deep down we believe we deserve the suffering. It's a cruel loop. Pain leads to shame. Shame leads to more pain. This is why empathy is so important. In her book, Dare to Lead, Brené Brown says shame is not a compass for morality. It doesn't guide us toward good. It drives us into destruction. When people who self-harm are judged, shamed, or told they're hopeless, the pain only deepens. What heals is empathy. What heals is someone saying, I see you. You're not alone. Have you ever felt invisible in your pain? Like no one could understand until you showed the scars on your skin. For many, that's exactly what self-harm becomes, a cry for help. Not because they want attention in a shallow sense, but because they can't find the words. And so, they let the wounds speak. Here's something important. People who self-harm don't always want to die. In fact, many of them want to live. They are fighting to live. Judy Fievel. A mental health researcher highlights this distinction. Suicide is about ending life to stop distress. Self-harm is about trying to manage distress while still clinging to life. That doesn't make it any less painful, but it's crucial to understand. So, if self-harm is a coping mechanism, how do we find healthier ones? That's the question I had to face too. 1. Reach out. Talk to someone you trust. For me, finding just one friend who could listen without judgment made all the difference. Who is that person for you? 2. Identify your triggers. I started journaling every time the urge came. Slowly, I began to see patterns. For you, it might be loneliness, rejection, stress, or a memory that won't let go. Knowing your triggers is the first step in taking their power away. 3. Find alternatives. When the urge hit, sometimes I held an ice cube in my hand until it melted. It mimicked the sting without leaving scars. Other times I drew lines on my arm with a red marker instead of a blade. Strange, maybe, but it gave me a chance to breathe. What small action could give you that pause? 4. Create a safe space. I had to remove objects I used to harm myself. Instead, I filled my room with things that comforted me. Soft blankets, a stress ball, even notes with kind words to remind me I wasn't worthless. Could you create a space like that for yourself? I won't lie. Healing takes time. It's not a straight path. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel like breaking again. But every day you choose not to harm yourself is a victory. Every moment of reaching out, every act of kindness you give yourself, it all adds up. So here's what I want to ask you right now. What's one gentle thing you can do for yourself today instead of harm? Write it down in the comments. Maybe your answer will be the one that saves someone else who reads it. Self-harm is not the end of your story. It is a chapter, yes, but you are allowed to write new pages. You are not weak for having scars. You are strong for surviving. And you are not alone in this. If this message resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because this community is here to remind you you're not broken, you're human. And even in the darkest